Good evening. It was the birth of my daughter, Natalie, that shook the first memories loose. But I wouldn't find the courage to go public with my secret for another 11 years. Until then, no one would know that from age 11 to 14, my parish priest routinely molested me. I was in 7th grade when I began working Saturday nights and Sunday mornings at my parish rectory. My $5 per week job included serving meals to the priest. My first encounter with Father Kostolnik was on a Sunday morning. He sat alone, strategically positioned where no one could observe his behavior. He created the perfect opportunity to victimize any young girl who served him. He was never caught in the act. At 33, with the birth of my daughter, memories surfaced. I broached the subject with my 2 younger sisters who followed in my footsteps serving the priests. Initially, the 3 of us laughed. It was a relief and validating to know that it wasn't a figment of my imagination. And then I stopped laughing. I told my devout Catholic mother. It would be the first of several conversations over a dozen years. Each time she responded, "It happened so long ago, just let it go." And I did. But in 2001, with Nat now 11, the same age I was when the abuse began, something shifted. A line in a documentary, "I want to confront my father so I can take my power back," cut me open and propelled me into action. I was ready to go public with a secret that I'd kept for 3 decades and begin a journey to heal my heart. The next day, I wrote a letter detailing the abuse to Monsignor William Lynn, Secretary of the Clergy for the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, basically the head of HR. I remembered a Billy Lynn had gone to school with my brother, had become a priest. That Billy Lynn was now Monsignor William Lynn. A few weeks later, Monsignor Lynn's assistant acknowledged receipt of my letter with a minimalist response. When the church investigated, Father Kostolnik denied everything, as he had previously when allegations of sexual abuse surfaced against him in the 80s in another parish. About the same time, news about sexual abuse by priests in Boston surfaced. By the end of April, 5 months after I sent my letter, several more women came forward with similar accusations against Father Kostolnik. Only then did the Catholic Church force him into early retirement to live out a life of prayer and penance. By the time he died in 2009, a total of 18 women had reported he had abused them. 3 years later, in 2012, the city of Philadelphia subpoenaed me to testify against the Archdiocese for covering up sexual abuse by priests. The defendant, Monsignor William Lynn. On the stand, his lawyers questioned my credibility. They asked why I had never shared this information. As a child, I could not speak up to save myself. Priests were God. But as a mother, I could speak up to protect my daughter and to seek justice for other victims. At the end of a $12 million defense, the jury convicted Father Lynn of child endangerment. He became the first cleric in the Catholic Church's clergy abuse scandal to be found guilty of shielding molesters. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison. He served 3. By testifying, I was part of history, ensuring that sexual abuse victims at the hands of Catholic priests got justice and redemption. But what I personally wanted to hear was, "I am sorry." I am sorry from Father Kostolnik, And most importantly, I am sorry for my mother for choosing to protect a representative of God over me. Both have since died, so I will never hear those words. So how could I move on? Through this journey, I've learned a lot about compassion and forgiveness. It took time to find compassion for my mother. I understand that her world revolved around the Catholic Church, and to acknowledge a priest's abuse of her 3 daughters would have destroyed the very foundation of her life. She simply could not do it. Compassion allowed me to accept that she was doing the very best she could. I've also learned how important it is to forgive, to be able to say I'm sorry, and the need to hear I'm sorry, maybe even repeatedly until it lands. I have transformed my scars into stars, and we all have scars and secrets that we keep. And yet, on the other side of sharing awaits a new life, made deeper, richer, and more joy-filled through compassion and forgiveness. Thank you. Thank you especially to my family and my friends and my neighbors who are here to support me, and especially my husband, Bob, and my daughter, Natalie, because without them, I wouldn't be able to stand here, and I am very grateful. Thank you. Thank you.